Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Pisces. If Pisces is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. Okay, and our card tonight is the Magician. Okay, and let's see what these tea leaves have to say. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. It's free to subscribe and you can hit the little bell. When you do, it'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It's supposed to send out notifications. All right, let's see what we have going here. We have that full moon coming up. My goodness, it feels very profound. I was looking at it last night after I did my readings, looking at the moon. It's not full yet, but I was looking at the moon out the window and just thinking, yeah, you're really doing a number on me, aren't you? Very emotional Scorpio energies. Okay, so I want to start right here. We have, it kind of looks like, if you look in here, it looks like a face. Okay, you can see, let's get in here. You have the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Here's the head. Okay, kind of this angry brow. Kind of almost looks like some kind of monster, I would say. Some kind of entity. And then we have a star right here, and that's a really beautiful formation of tea leaves kind of coming out in that perfect star formation there. Okay, and we have a person that looks like they're hiking. They have like a walking stick, a staff of some kind. And so I almost feel like there is a sense of really trying to stay focused on the goal, right? Whatever the goal is for you, whatever your the big thing that you have been preparing for, you have, been devoted to, just absolutely immerse yourself in. This is something that I think that you've been working at for some time. Sometimes you are in a real place of getting somewhere with it, and other times not so much, right? This is a long-term thing. And I feel like at this point, there is this really kind of just almost, well, it feels kind of spooky, but I don't think it's so much that. It does seem a bit menacing, this energy. But I do feel like it is this kind of, it's not a trickster, but it is something coming in there and really like distracting you through, I feel like, mental trickery, and I feel there is just this blockage, I can just imagine it's like traveling down like a corridor, and you just keep running into these locked doors. You're trying to find one that is open, and it feels like there's something gaining on you. So I feel like, there's really this anxiety around your progress, around maybe the lack thereof recently. And here we go with TT. She's out in the hallway. Now, I know you all love seeing TT and Pudgy in the readings. We're in our new studios. I have not let them in yet. Well, no, that's not true. I think they've been in one video, like the first one. And they're not allowed in yet until everything kind of gets put together, because it's a different setup. And I just want to wait until they get in here and cause their chaos. She's really not having it, though. She's like, let me in. I have something to say. But yes, so I feel like there's a sense of just, kind of really being pulled away, and it almost, and I feel like this is kind of in an emotional sector. I feel like this is maybe kind of a feeling of, I just can't stay focused on the task. It feels more difficult than usual. And I feel like there's like this real kind of period of procrastination, and I think this is where you kind of derive a lot of your anxiety from, is not feeling focused and procrastinating, and it's like the hours getting later and later and later, and just this kind of energy lurking at the corners, and I feel like it's kind of like maybe you're a little hard on yourself, thinking like, why can't I just pull it together? Why can't I just get this thing done? It's something that I want to do. It's something that's important to me. But it just absolutely feels like this monumental task to even get the smallest thing finished in regards to this. So I feel like, sometimes we have to listen to ourselves. We have to take it slow when we need to. Sometimes that feels like we are missing our opportunity. But I think everything is in its right place at all times, if we understand that or not. Sometimes we do. We just have to kind of push ourselves through it, right? Especially if there's some kind of like deadline. But I think there's something to be said for allowing for yourself to do other things, so that you can, usually kind of gather inspiration, gather, more resources for yourself, so that you can go back and be more focused. Although you may be like myself, if I put some things down, I may never come back to them. So I have to be working on it at least a little bit, keep it in the front of my mind so it doesn't end up in a drawer somewhere that I've forgotten about. So, I just feel that there is a need for maybe some kind of fresh energies, maybe some ideas. I don't, sometimes it just feels like things are getting stale, right? And that's just life. It's anything that you're doing. Sometimes it feels like everything you try, it's not going to work. It just doesn't work. And you have to kind of step away from it to gain some perspective. And this energy here, I feel like it's like that negative kind of nagging, it ruins your day when you step into it, right? And so I feel like it's a good thing to maybe allow yourself to avoid that for a little while longer, right? Let it dissipate. Let the excitement and the belovedness of your project kind of return to you, okay? Now, we also have we also have, we have we have the person with the walking, and that really is about the journey, right? And I feel like when we look at that, when we see the symbol of maybe like the hermit or the mountain climber, somebody on a long journey, it really is this message of kind of pacing self, right? You cannot win a lifetime journey by sprinting. It just doesn't work that way. You have to pace yourself. You have to know when to rest. You have to know when to take it slow. You have to know when to really put your all into it. And maybe part of this journey right now is about kind of re-establishing that know-how, right? Recognizing those feelings within yourself, those instincts within yourself, and listening to them. It's important. It's important to be able to do that, because a lot of us don't. We are so conditioned to ignore how we're feeling, or find a quick fix to kind of smooth it over and continue on. So really being able to get back to listening to what you need and heeding that need, that want, that message that is coming from self, it's not easy to get back to that place. Okay, so I think that there is a lesson in this, even if it feels like maybe a little bit of a failure, right? Like you're just not doing as much as you had hoped. It's not going to get done as quickly as you were seeing in your mind, right? But that's okay. That's okay. You have time. You have time. All right. So we also have a dolphin right here. Okay. So very psychic energy. And we have a heart right in here. You can see. And it looks like a Sagittarius symbol here. And then we have these two people reaching up for it. It almost looks like a pin. And it looks like somebody writing here. So I almost kind of wonder, if there is kind of this, it almost feels like secrets being told, things being said, maybe even kind of gossip, kind of maybe being involved in a situation where either maybe you are telling secrets, you are talking to people about other people's business, or it is your business that is being talked about. But I kind of almost feel like maybe this is you. Maybe you are kind of, just, and I don't think that it's anything nefarious, but I think that maybe to some degree, now let me just say, I don't think that Pisces people are usually big gossips. So I almost feel like this is something that is happening mostly because of the people or person that you are interacting with. Not their fault, but I think that they're just kind of gossipy people. And I think that you're kind of stepping into that energy. And here's the thing is that I feel like it feels like it is causing some kind of turmoil. I almost wonder if this is going to kind of, come back as you being somebody who is outing somebody about some secret of their life, something in their life that maybe seems frivolous or not that important, or it's just kind of idle chit chat for you. But for this person, it seems like, you know, it absolutely could be like destabilizing for them. And here's the thing, you know, and let me just say, I am not, you know, innocent of like gossip, right? I absolutely have gossiped. I do gossip sometimes, and I will probably gossip in the future. I try not to. Thankfully, I don't know that many people, so I don't know very many people to talk about anyways. But, you know, so let me just say, not coming from a place of judgment. But I do think that it's easy for us, especially in the world that we live in, because we're so connected with so many people. You know, a lot of them we barely know, you know, and it's easy to forget that even the people we know in real life, I feel like we just have come to this place where we forget that people are human beings. We forget that people struggle. We forget that people, you know, maybe have things in their life that they are sensitive about. They are, you know, it would be really devastating for them if people were talking about these parts of their, you know, existence. And so you never really know, you know, what will it do to somebody to be kind of out there discussing, you know, pieces of their life, you know, so freely. And I think usually, you know, Pisces, you're somebody who is pretty careful with people. But again, I think this is almost kind of situational. And, you know, we've all been there, right? We've all been there. We've all been standing around having, you know, I was going to say a cup of coffee, a soda together, whatever, you know, talking about this and that. And then you say something that maybe even usually you wouldn't, you know, usually it's something that, you hear and you kind of just put it away because it's not, you know, you're not really somebody that, perpetuates that kind of energy. So, you know, I almost feel like there is this feeling of like, you know, scrambling to stop this information from being spread. I almost feel like this person who it's about, or the family that it's about, or whatever, you know, is kind of like getting involved on some level, you know, like maybe being confrontational, and maybe rightfully so, you know. But I almost feel like there's a sense of remorse here, a sense of, and I don't even think it's because of the people hearing about this, you know, gossip stuff happening. But I think that it is, you know, like it's just a natural thing happening within you. As soon as you say it, it's like, oh my goodness, I feel kind of terrible for, you know, even bringing this up or adding into the conversation. And you know, part of it, I think, is that, yeah, I don't know. Listen, in recovery, I'm in recovery. I do 12-step, and within 12-step, there is this idea that, well, there is a step that where you go and make amends to people who you have wronged, right? But part of it is that you don't necessarily go and make amends to people that it might harm further. It might be too upsetting for them. You know, maybe even you speaking to them directly could be destabilizing to them because they've been traumatized in some way. So I don't know that apologizing is really the thing so much as trying to do better, right? Trying not to get involved in other people's business, focusing on yourself, focusing on your own, your own work, your family stuff, and, really just trying to, I don't know, go about life as much as you can without discussing other people, which is, I know it sounds strange, but I think that it really does, it takes away so much of the kind of torment of these little dramas that play out. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I get such bad anxiety about this kind of thing, the gossiping and being involved somehow, and feeling like I maybe hurt somebody, or hearing something about myself from people who I know, talking about me behind my back or whatever. I'm very sensitive, so and I don't mind saying that. I'll cry. You look at me funny and I'll cry. So I think it's just kind of we got to do better. Let's see what life might be like if we don't. If we're not kind of having these kinds of conversations. And it is amazing, again, let me just say, I am not a saint. I have gossiped, and I do sometimes, but I will tell you, and this partially is because I don't really have friends in real life. I have people in my life, but, I don't have like a group of friends. And, there's not really a lot to talk about besides the things we're interested in and doing and, whatever. But that dynamic leaving my life, like when I was young and very social and not careful with people. I worried a lot. I felt bad a lot. I, said things and did things I absolutely still to this day feel terrible about, right? And so living a life where that's not a big presence is such a relief. It really truly is. And so maybe something to think about practicing, see if we can go, and I'm going to take this challenge too. I'm going to see if I can go like 3 whole days without talking about anybody's stuff that's going on, no gossip, not even about the cats. I'm not even going to talk about what the cats have been doing. What naughty things have these cats been doing today? I'm not going to tell on them, not going to discuss them. Just going to keep quiet and mind my own business. All right, let's see. Now we have, it looks like a B right here and then an A. Okay, so B and A. We also have a cow sitting like a human with a baby. You can see the head of the baby right here. Okay, and we have the cow head here, the body. And immediately, mother energy. We have Hathor, the goddess Hathor. And, we have 25. We have a 2 and a 5 right here. We have the B and the A. This almost looks like Thoth with the ibis head. We have that Sagittarius person. I almost wonder if you have a mother figure, a sister, who is a Sagittarius. And it looks like it says THIS. This. This is it. So we have the mother figure. We have the god of magic, but we also have the magician. So, I feel like the mother archetype, a mother and father, of course, but these parental archetypes are some of the ultimate world creators, because for such a period of time, you are truly creating the world of a child, a newborn, an infant, a toddler. How they experience the world very much is about how you build the world for them. Okay. And so this mother figure as a world creator, as an architect of the world, makes so much sense to me. We also have the magician. So, the magician and the mother seem very interlaced in my mind. There's a real sense of magic being made through most things that mother and father are doing when their children are young, at least hopefully, right? Creating a sense of exploration and wonder and, magic and silliness and sharing the old stories, the mythologies, the fairy tales, the ordeals that we learn from, the allegories that we learn from. And so, I wonder if you are a parent or if you are a caregiver, if you are somebody who maybe works with children or, you have an active role with the children in your life. Okay. Maybe you're an auntie or an uncle, or something like this. And I do feel like you really take it seriously being somebody who can create an atmosphere of something absolutely fantastical and interesting and, showing these kind of little doorways into the worlds that are just so beautiful and immersive for children. And maybe it is, I almost think like maybe you are, reading to them or you have like, you're really into the role play, fantasy play, the, kind of acting things out and make-believe. I was trying to think what make-believe, doing like make-believe play and stuff. All of these things are so important when kids are young, to be able to not only kind of try on different personas and different archetypes and learn the stories, but also to go through the motions of the ordeals that happen within these stories, so that they have some understanding of what things mean and what the how things affect each other and the scenarios and whatever in life. And so when we are lucky enough to get to do that with our kids, with our grandkids, with our family members and the friends, children, and so on, it is a magical experience. It truly is. And so I feel like you're really you're that family member. I think of, as I'm talking about this, I read a biography, or kind of an autobiography, from the daughter, and I forget her name, of course. And I read this many years ago. I was maybe like 18 or 19 when I read it, but it was the daughter of J.D. Salinger. And she wrote about her father, who really, was quite well known for being reclusive, and he kind of hid his family away from the public eye. And he kind of really, from what I remember, I get the impression that he was kind of like one of those free-range parents, and very kind of everything was very creative and magical and living in kind of their own fairy tale. And, you know, there were not many limits to the creative process and exploring the world around them and so on. And so, you know, when I see something like this, I kind of think of this kind of parenting, and super kudos to people who can live like this. I wish I could. I thought that when I was becoming a mother, before I was a mother, I was a mother, I was pregnant, right? And I thought, oh yeah, I have all these ideals about my parenting style and stuff. And then I had my daughter, and like, you know, after a few months, I don't know what a parenting style really is. I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. But you know, this kind of really, just, you know what I think of too is, if you've ever heard of the Waldorf schools, who Rudolf Steiner, one of the great occult writers, esoteric writers, started the system of schooling called the Waldorf system. And you should go and look it up if you've never heard of it. I had a friend growing up that went to a Waldorf school, and I was so jealous. It seemed so interesting. They had like puppet shows, and they did these big elaborate dress up things, and all these arts, and it was like student led, and you know, it seemed amazing. So, you know, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking it's really such a nurturing and inspiring and beloved vibe. And I could see, you know, that people are very drawn to you, although I feel like in some ways, maybe you have been, a little bit of, you know, how should I say it? Like the oddball of the family or whatever. People look at your life and the way that you are with people, the way that you can connect with children, and I assume animals as well. You have this high vibrating energy, and you're not afraid to go exploring in your own life. You don't have to always live this very rigid and, you know, very kind of planned lifestyle. And so, you know, some people might think, okay, this person, they have no focus in their life and, you know, whatever. I don't think that's true at all. I think, you know, you absolutely kind of immerse yourself in being alive. And, you know, I think that this is maybe where the struggle kind of comes up, where it's like, okay, so I really want to get this goal finished. I want to do these things, but I also have a hard time always being in a routine that is very rigid. And when my time is completely taken by all the things I have to do, you get burnt out, right? And it starts to feel, you know, very like you're very disconnected, maybe kind of a kind of creative blockage, and so but there's the guilt of like not being able to kind of adhere to that kind of living. But I think one of your great strengths is that you are so kind of disjointed from reality in some ways. You create your own world, your own world perception. You are a magician. You are the architect. You are a world creator. And not everybody is like this. A lot of people spend their whole lives living in somebody else's idea of what the world is. And often I think, I mean, I don't know, but I imagine living like that, you could feel like you are a visitor in your own life, you know? And I think for you, not so much, right? I think that you are somebody who absolutely, you know, is the creator, the lead actor, the, you know, the audience, and, you know, all the other stuff. And I think that, you know, it works through you most of the time. And when it doesn't, it's maybe where you're learning something, you know. So don't be hard on yourself. You know, I think though you're good at listening to yourself. So I'm telling you this, and you're like, I already know, Lenore. I already know. You don't have to tell me. I already got it. Okay, so let's see. We have a 2 right here. We have a 2 right here. We have 22. We also have a bird. It reminds me of a seagull. So I feel like there's a draw to water, maybe a large body of water. And I feel like there is kind of this, I almost feel like an urge to be traveling. And I think you're trying to figure that out. I wonder if this is like for emotional reasons. Maybe you have a long distance friendship, or, you know, somebody that you're dating, or whatever. Maybe family. You want to go see family. But I do think that this is kind of like almost like an emotional pilgrimage of some kind. And I feel like there's a little bit, you're feeling conflicted about going. But I see the plane, so I feel like, yeah, maybe, you know, the emotions, and then we have the cup right there. So the emotions kind of went out right here. And I see you kind of going on this journey. And I think it's something that maybe is necessary. I feel that you feel kind of impassioned to make this pilgrimage, and so I think there must be something to it, right? Okay, let's take a look. We have the Wild Bohemian affirmation cards. These are the fire element. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to flip through and stop where it feels right. It says, I am infinite. You behold many talents. Allow them to fully bloom. Kindred spirits enfold you. Kindred spirits enfold you. All right. I like. All right, Pisces, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you, because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It's free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. They mean the world to me. And so, again, I will say I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. Good night. Good night. Good night.